All right, let's get started. Welcome everyone. Thanks for joining my silent disco here and my presentation at the ELKO meetup. I'm going to talk to you about steps the smart home industry can take to move to the next level and to really develop a consumer market. Because that's really the next step. But first, who am I? Why am I here to talk with you? So that's me. Um, my name is Stefan. I'm commercial director and founder at my company. It's called ATHOM. And I've been in smart home full-time dedicated for over 5 years because we make a product. And the product is called Homey. And Homey is supposed to be the central place in your smart home. So we've seen and been in the smart home market for the past 5 years, seeing all the different devices and fads hype, go by, and establish. And let me start out with because why do we really need these steps to get into the consumer market? It's because the smart home is a mess. And as a manufacturer of products, I'm sorry. Because we manufacturers have kind of made it a mess. It's all over the place. You have all these different products, all these different brands, all these different technologies, and what can you really make of smart home nowadays? It's not really smart at all. It's not really unified at all. It's a fragmented set of products that, well, is kind of a mess. But do not worry. I'm here to create a little bit of ordinance, a little bit of authority, a little bit of structure in this chaos of smart home. So smart home has a couple of products. And first of all is that it comes from home automation, right? Domotics, light bulbs, socket switches, security that works by its own brand or maybe by a couple of brands. But it's always limited. It's always a closed system. There's some light bulbs, some sockets, some security, maybe some sensors that you can control. It's all from the same brand, or if they're not from the same brand, they all look the same. It's the same white, boring, ugly devices you can buy to make your home a little bit automated. And that has always been separated from entertainment. So it never really works with your TV. It never really works with your Sonos. It never really works with your audio. It's like there's two separate worlds out there. Even if this place is already fragmented with different brands and technologies, it still doesn't work correctly with the other side of things that you buy at home. And why is that? Now, well, for starters, we're talking about wireless technology. Of course, you can also be talking about wired technology, but that's really hard, and nobody really wants that. So we're talking about wireless technology. But there's not just a wireless technology. There's like 7. Not everything runs on Wi-Fi, but you also have Bluetooth, RF, Zigbee, Z-Wave, infrared even, for television sets that are older. So it's really hard to make these things talk to each other because they don't even work on the same technology. They literally aren't able to find each other and talk to each other. And how, as a consumer, are you going to make a choice in this? How are you ever going to find your way in this world with these different standards, these different technologies? Because we do expect consumers to find a way. I mean, not everyone can afford an installer. And the big growth in smart home is really in do-it-yourself, in people getting a Sonos system, getting a Philips Hue, getting socket switches, a Xiaomi, Fibaro, I don't know what brands, and bringing them all together. But we're expecting consumers to figure out their way in a world which has been made so complicated that it's almost impossible to do. So why is this? Why are there even so many standards? This is a nice nerd comment. comic that I like, which shows you really how standards develop. So it's really like this. There are a couple of competing standards. Someone says, this is ridiculous, we should just make one standard that fits all. And the situation thereafter is that you have just another standard because everyone stays at where they've been. If you sell a TV set, it's not important that it's on the best smart home standard. What's important is that it works with the remotes and with the apps that you already have. And for every brand, it's the same. So a new standard isn't going to solve this. Thread might sound great, Zigbee might sound great, low-powered Wi-Fi, 5G, but it's not going to solve the mess that's already there. Maybe, just maybe, it will better it for the future. But it doesn't mean that everything's solved in the households people already have, because people are buying products today, and they're not going to renew them tomorrow. These products that they buy today, they're going to stay in their homes for a couple of while, so we just got to make it work. And if we talk about standard, there's a lot. There's a lot of technologies in the home that are used. So I already briefly talked about it, but you have Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, Zigbee, Z-Wave, KNX. You have radio frequency on 2 bands, 433 and 868. You have infrared. You have all these different systems talking mostly to themselves, really, in this home. So I want to talk with you about steps we can take to get us out of there. Because right now, smart home is really technology oriented. It's early adopters. It's enthusiasts. It's really based on the people who actually like to invest time and effort into their search to find a solution. But it's not going to stay there. It's going to emerge. We all know it. And while it has been maybe a little bit later than people anticipated, the smart home is getting to the consumer market. It's getting mainstream. And that's why we should look at the steps to help us make that mainstream, help our users, our customers, our clients make it mainstream, and be sure to be on that position. So how do we do that? How do we turn this mess, this chaos that I just described, into a solution? Well, the first is to really focus on a solution. We, as a market, as manufacturers and as retailers, we have to learn to sell solutions and not just products. I mean, previously it was easy. This is both a product and a solution, right? It washes things, and it's a washing machine. But nowadays, it isn't that easy anymore. A single product isn't a solution anymore. Nowadays, a single solution might look like this, with light bulbs, a sensor set, and a bridge, or a gateway, or a home automation system, configuring just one solution. And that's what we should shift to. And solutions overarch brands. Previously, it was one product is one solution. Maybe one brand is one solution. But now we have solutions that are bigger. Solutions that combine multiple brands, that combine multiple products, combine multiple technologies. And that's what we gotta sell, because people don't want products. They want solutions. They want answers to their problems. They don't want a washing machine per se. They want something that makes sure they don't have to wash themselves. And with smart home, it's the same. They don't want a smart lighting setup. They want something that makes sure their home is lighted in the right atmosphere and the right intensity at the right time. And we gotta learn how to sell that. Well, this is pretty mainstream, right? I mean, I'm sure you've been to talks before, and everyone says we should sell solutions and not products because that's the new big thing. But what I'm actually showing you is in the next steps how we can do that. So step one, and this is really the overarching step, is sell solutions, not products. But to do that, what we're gonna do is, as a retailer, as a reseller also as a manufacturer, you have the capability to actually select on solutions, select on compatibility. This is a product portfolio, right? You have all these different brands and products sitting in your shop, but this is not a smart home portfolio. This is not a solution portfolio. These are isolated islands. This is what a regular portfolio can look like. But this is what a smart home portfolio looks like. It's got to be compatible, and you, as a retailer, or maybe as a manufacturer and as a brand, has the ultimate position to select on that. You can make sure that whatever you offer has compatibility. And it doesn't mean that everything is going to be compatible with everything. I mean, this dot right here, it's only compatible with the center. But at least it can be tied into a system. And this is probably a great solution on its own. And yes, it's not compatible with this ball right here, but you can combine it through the center. There is an option to make it compatible. And I think that is key, because you have a limited portfolio, you have limited shelf space, or maybe if you're online, you have unlimited shelf space, but you have limited marketing space, limited newsletters. And what's key is that you select what to communicate and what to sell based on compatibility, because if you don't, you cannot sell solutions. You can only sell products. The only thing you're going to be selling is just boxes, like 20 years ago. And this is not 2006. In 2006, having a portfolio like this was fine. But nowadays, you need a portfolio that is connected and where things actually work together in the solutions. So we, and especially you as a channel, can select on compatibility and make sure that there's really a solution to sell. So how do we get there? The next step is communicate compatibility, because it's great that you select on it, but how do people know it? And you have logos like that. Oh, the contrast is really bad, but that's a works with Google Assistant logo here. You have talks with Homey, you have works with Alexa. You have all these different, oh, there it is, logos that are available to communicate. And maybe it's not pretty to put them all on a box. But as I said, it's not 2006 anymore. We don't have boxes. We have web pages. We have filters. We have categories. And this really allows you to go all in on smart home. Just create a filter. Compatibility platform, works with platform, or whatever. Create categories if you must. Filter's not an option for works with Homey, works with Google Assistant, works with Alexa, maybe works with HomeKit. Communicate that it works together to your customers, because customers, they don't want a single solution. I've been in the smart home market for 6 years now, full time, and I've talked to a lot of retailers, and the single thing that retailers in stores say that's holding people back from buying is this decision stress. Do I make the right choice? Because how do I know the thing that I choose is going to be relevant tomorrow or in the next year? And if my wishes change, and maybe today I want lighting, but next year I want security, how do I know that I have not made a mistake? And communicating compatibility is a key thing to that, because it communicates that it's interoperable. It works with general systems. So communicating that compatibility is really the next step. Address expansion. This is really where the benefit for you as a seller, as a brand, as everyone that sells something benefits from expansion. But address it for the future. Do not expect people to buy this at the beginning, because nobody starts with this. Everyone starts with this. But they end up with this. And that's because people want to know they can extend it. They want to know it's future-proof. And then later on they'll extend it. And where do they extend it? It's always extending with the brands and at the reseller that they bought the first thing. Because that's trusted, they know what's possible, and they know what to do. So talk expansion, but talk about it later on. make sure you generate a customer and create customer value and create a relationship that you can benefit on later on. So the next step we can take is really keeping it simple. And keeping it simple is mostly about the products that you feature. Feature simple products, feature single solutions, feature products that people understand because they're already confused. And also make sure you don't feature products that look like this. Because if the interface looks like this, you have a product that's not ready for the consumer market, but is made for programmers. And nobody, or some people are programmers, but it's a really small market. Make sure that interfaces look like this. They're easy, they're approachable. And even though if you want to automate things or combine things, because in a smart home you want to, keep it simple. Select products that actually are approachable by consumers. So as the second to last step, smart home gives a lot of possibilities. And one is the tailored follow-up. And a tailored follow-up, it expands on the step 4 that I said of expansion. A tailored follow-up offers great opportunities because in smart home, if you have the right portfolio, if you select on compatibility, stuff works with each other. And that creates so much more of an entry than a newsletter that's saying, hey, we've got this huge new promotion which gives you a 20% discount. No, you can actually say, did you know that the smart lighting system you bought can also be voice controlled? Did you know that apart from controlling your lighting, you can also control your TV and your shades from the same app? Did you know that you can have a single button that reenacts a whole scenario for you that includes your entire home with lighting, with energy, with everything? So this tailored follow-up is a unique opportunity if you do smart home profiling and targeting, and well, it's basically only tracking, right? And this is really where your new business comes from. Because you can not only sell them something, but you can actually advise them. You can help them select the next thing. You can help them expand their system and not just add new devices, because no one's interested in adding new devices. People want to expand their system. They want to expand their home. They want to expand their experience. And the last step to smart home for consumers is actually pretty simple. Start delivering. And the focus is really on start here. Because right now, this market is emerging. And yes, it's not as fast as we all hope to be. But it is emerging. And it will be there. The question just is going to be, who has the authority? Who is going to be your smart home partner as a consumer? It's going to be installers. It's going to be energy companies. It's going to be telecom providers. It's going to be retailers. And if it's retailers, if it's online or offline, is it DIY or electronics? This market is for the taking. And we have really powerful brands. You have Sonos in audio. You have voice assistants getting popular. You have smart lighting from multiple different brands. You have sensors in all sorts and packages to make sure that you really can connect everything in your home. From doors and windows to motion, even your regular lighting, wall plugs. And you have smart home systems that are actually easy enough to use that regular people can buy them. You don't have to be a programmer to get these systems. So the products are there. It's just the question is who is starting to deliver it and who will be the authority? So I'm from Homey, and we are helping. We're helping you together with, for example, our distributor ELKO. And what we do is we create a real smart home. So what we do is really helping you in that first step. We are here to turn products into solutions because people want those products. They want these brands. They don't want everything from the same boring white stuff. They want lighting from Philips, Hue. They want heating from Nest or Tado or Netatmo or maybe floor heating. They want security from Verisure or maybe locks from Yale. They want blinds powered by Somfy motors. And they want all these different systems because they're the best in class. And you don't want to compromise on your home. And what we do is we create this little ball that sits in your home and actually make sure that is one solution. We are the central thing in this connected portfolio that you can offer. Because Homey has all wireless protocols on board. All these different standards I show, from infrared to Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, Zigbee, Z-Wave, RF, it's in there. We control televisions from 25 years old, but also the latest Zigbee stuff from IKEA. Next to the protocols, which are cool, Homey has apps for integrations. So if new products are added to the market because, well, they're released, there's just an app update, just a plugin update, just a new app that comes around that services those. You do not need firmware updates. Even better, you're not reliable on us to integrate new products because everyone can do so. Developers, a community, device manufacturers themselves can easily integrate their protocol onto Homey. And apps make sure that Homey stays simple and powerful at the same time because it works with everything. And that's the key in creating a real smart home, working with everything. But at the same time, as a consumer, you never get technical stuff. You don't have to program. You don't have to do this whole complicated scenario thing. And if you want to add something, you don't even have to put it in inclusion mode or pairing mode. No. A pairing wizard on your phone says exactly what you should do. Turn the light off for 2 seconds and turn it back on again. Press the button on the back of your remote. It's animated, it's graphic, and you know exactly what you should do. Everyone can use it. It's easily integrated in other systems. And nerds love it, which is great because they add the devices and they're the first power user community. And this app store of us, it integrates devices like Fibaro, Philips Hue, Sonos, Chromecast, but also internet services like the weather or rain radar or delivery services. So it's really smart. It's contextual aware and it can show you how much your solar panels are generated, but it can also warn you if you leave home, turn everything off, but it's going to be raining. And it does so in a really simple interface. And that's key, because you don't want that programming interface I just showed you. You want something people understand. And you want them to be creative. You want them to make their own home, and not just a generic home where everyone can say, turn the lights on, and that's all it does. No, you want them that the lights go on automatically based on sunset, based on their alarms, based on their presence, maybe based on a sensor. It depends on their setup, and that's what we do. We make that easy so that everyone can do that, even if you're not a programmer. And it's visual, and it's approachable. But the most important thing is it works with your favorite brands. It works with everything you already have, you love, and you want to expand to, so you always have a future. And it puts them all into your pocket. One app, one automation system, and one smart home. So that's what we do, and I really want to encourage you to take that last step and combine it with the other steps that I shared. Start delivering. Start with delivering smart home in a curated portfolio that works with each other, that matches, that has compatibility because you select on it, and it really empowers your clientele to get a smart home. Because if you don't do it, someone else will, and they will be the next person that sells everything. Because as soon as you start on this is fucking addictive, right? You start with this, and you start with 3 light bulbs and a socket switch, and next thing you know, your whole home is full of new stuff because you want your TV, you want your window blinds, you want your thermostat, you want everything to work with it. And the person that's going to sell the first is going to sell the basis, and is going to sell the first use case and make sure it's compatible. That's the person who's going to sell that person an entire new home. So thank you so much for listening. I'm Stefan. You can reach me, but of course you can also reach ELKO because our product is distributed by them, and we make sure you can deliver on a truly smart home. Thank you. I see we have 5 minutes left, so if there are any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them. It can be really technical on standards and technologies. It can be really mainstream, anything. Anyone? Nobody really paid attention and we're just waking up with the applause? No, just kidding. If there's questions, not now, but maybe later, feel free to hop by and say hi to me. Yes?
Yeah, if you have a question, we can ask.
Please, in how many years you developed the first prototype?
I'm sorry, you're a little bit low on the volume there. It's just the microphone's volume that's low.
In how many years you developed your first prototype, which is really start working? How many time it take?
How many times
How many years it take to make this homey work?
Oh, how many years did it take us to make our product? It's a lot. I mean, we've launched it on Kickstarter 5 years ago, and it took us 2.5 years to deliver on our promise, even though we said it would be like a year or so because we were pretty optimistic. Before that, this was a hobby project. We already integrated infrared, RF devices. So actually, we launched in retail in November 2016. So that's 2.5 years ago in the Netherlands, where we're from. But it has been a project since 2011. So it's 5 years in the making. Sure, first it was at a lower level. It was more of a hobby. It was more exploring. But as of 2014, there were a dozen of engineers working full-time to develop this. Because, as I said, it's a mess. It's not easy. There's so many different wireless protocols and products. But the best thing is, we built the basis. We make sure that your smart home works and has an interface as it should be. But all the different connections to all these different systems, it's managed through this open platform with the apps. So yes, we already have spent 7 years working on it, 8 now. But it's because it's an open platform, and actually 80% of all the integrations are not built by us, but are built by brand manufacturers themselves in our community. It's because what makes it manageable. Because if we had to do that ourselves, we would still be years in the making before making this work. Because yes, it's a mess, but it's also a mess that if you manage your portfolio properly, and if you select and communicate on compatibility, you can really add value to your customer, help them out, sell them products at the same time, and make sure they're coming back to you.
Are there any other questions?
I think we have time for one more question.
Everything is clear.
Going once, going twice. All right.
It seems like
great. Well, thank you all for coming. Thank you for listening to me, and have a great day.
Thank you, Stefan. Thank you.